We learn more now in Heroes Among Us, presented by Navy Federal Credit Union. New Orleans, Louisiana. The Crescent City boasts a proud tradition of great food, music, and nightlife. It's also the site of one of the biggest natural disasters in the history of our country.
With the latest computer model showing Hurricane Katrina developing.
In 2005, Hurricane Katrina delivered a whopping $160 billion worth of damage as almost 2,000 residents tragically lost their lives. Many more were left homeless, including Burnell Cotlon. Born and raised in the lower 9th Ward, he was one of the lucky ones to evacuate to a shelter across the state. Surrounded by others who had fled the city, they were in shock at what they were witnessing.
Well, we all were around this one little TV, and we watched the news, and we saw the levees broken. We saw the city go underwater. When everybody was watching the news, I had walked away, and nobody saw me, but I walked away and I went to my truck and I cried.
After serving our country in the Army, Burnell had come back to New Orleans in 2001 to fulfill his dream of being a police officer. At the time of the hurricane, he had left the force to be a manager of a local McDonald's. What had been a good life all changed when Katrina made landfall. After living in a FEMA trailer for 3 years, Burnell decided to start over in the only place he's ever called home.
I was the first person back in the entire city block. And I had to rebuild because this was my land, this was my house. So I drove up and down the Ninth Ward. I said, we don't have nothing. There's no stores, there's no doctors, there's no banks, there's nothing back here.
It wasn't long after he returned that Burnell realized that corporate America didn't share his enthusiasm for rebuilding in an area that was less than desirable for growth.
I called up every big box store you can think of, and they all knew something that I didn't know. They said that the lower Ninth Ward was a food desert. I said, what is a food desert? I didn't know what a food desert was. And they said they wasn't gonna rebuild. So I said, well, you know what? That's a problem. And since you're not gonna solve the problem, I am.
For nearly a decade after this New Orleans neighborhood was decimated, the closest grocery store was 3 city bus rides away. That's when a new dream took shape. Burnell's lower 9th Ward Market became a place of refuge for the nearby residents.
I think it speaks to his determination because he had a lot of obstacles. He had a lot of things in terms of dealing with the city and everybody else and trying to put some type of business back into that area.
This was the grocery store window. This is where everything got started.
Burnell's story has caught the eye of several notable figures over the years. He never knows who might show up on any given day.
Drew Brees, people still don't believe this here. One day I was in here sweeping the floor, and I get a tap on my shoulder. I turn around, it was this guy, Mark Zuckerberg. So I had to ask him, say, how did you even hear about me? He said that he read an article one day in the Washington Post about me. He said he followed me on Facebook for about 3 months. I don't even go on Facebook anymore. But he said he loved what I was doing. He wanted to come down and visit me.
His work is far from finished, but Burnell Cotlon has already left an enduring legacy of caring, resilience, and hope for those who need it most.
I spent my entire life savings opening up the first and only grocery store in the lower Ninth Ward. I'm a very, very, very fortunate person. I have had a lot of people, sometimes total strangers, to come in and help me because they saw what I was doing. So I've been very fortunate. I met a lot of great people over a period of years.
Though he's quick to give credit to others, Burnell is an everyday hero in every sense of the word, a proud citizen who stepped forward when no one else would to meet the needs of his neighbors.
You have to find your purpose in life. You're not just born to fall in love, get a job, have a few kids, grow old and die. That's not why you're here. Everybody's here for a reason. You have to find your purpose. And my purpose in life is service. That's why it's an easy transition from serving our country to me serving my community. I had to be here to do this grocery store. So no, there's no place like no home. I would do this all over again.